Hey guys, I am so sorry. I got commandeered a little bit today.
That's all right. Thanks for joining us. Hey, we were wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the family that was your special guest today, and then also your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but well, I will say this. Jeff Freckleton and his family from Idaho, they're diehard BYU fans. Dad is going through some really terrifyingly serious health issues right now that their family is fighting, and so we've actually over the last couple of weeks got to spend some time with them on Zoom, and then they actually were able to come to the game in like a very safe, cordoned off, separated by like hundreds of seats from anybody else, and it was just awesome. And the team has got to know them a little bit, and so it was actually really sweet for our team, and it was really sweet for I think it was good for the Freckleton family. I don't know if I'm supposed to be more specific than that, guys.
No, that's great. Thank you. And some thoughts on the game?
How awesome was that? Norma, did you get nervous?
Just like a little bit. People were getting after me because I tweeted. I was like, "Oh, finally BYU's putting the game away," and they're like, "You spoke too soon. You cursed."
Man, I was stressed out, guys. I was about to pee my pants. I was so nervous. Please don't quote me on that. This Pepperdine team is so good, guys. Like, they are so good. They are so dangerous. They're just so dangerous. And anytime you have a team with a veteran guy like Kobe Ross, who's been one of the top point guard in this league for the last 3 or 4 years, it's problematic because he can beat you in so many ways. And Kessler Edwards he's got a massive future in this game. He's such a talented player. And then, one of the things that's really, I think Lorenzo's probably super excited about with his team is they're so physical. Like, they've become so physical. And so we're super grateful for the win. We know it's against a great team, and then we're excited to figure out how to try and run it back on Wednesday, right? These back-to-back games are super fun because you just get to try and figure out if you're making adjustments or if you're trying to do what you do better, and the other team's doing the same thing.
Great. Couple questions from Mitch, Norma, and Hunter.
Mark, how much confidence do you have now in this team where you guys can win in so many different ways? To have a game where Barcelo has 0 field goals, and he probably hasn't had that since his days at Arizona. Just what does it do for the confidence, the different ways you guys can pull out victories?
It's guys, you know me, I'm going to bore you to death because I keep saying the same thing over and over because I believe it so much. But like, this locker room is really important. And you think about, just forgive me. I mean, you guys can turn off right now, but Connor Harding comes up with 10 rebounds today, right? And Connor Harding could have checked out 2 weeks ago when I benched him. And he played 24 minutes and comes up with 10 rebounds, and he's just ever present doing whatever he can. Came up with one of the biggest defensive plays. After a timeout, they went to a baseline corner lift back door, and Connor smelled it out and came up with the turnover, and it was a huge play. It actually kind of stymied the run up 3, right? And so he just is making huge plays. And the reason I bring him up is because that's what's fun about this team. Think about Trevin Nell's contribution tonight. 100% mismatch. Like, any coach with any brains in the history of the world would not match up Trevin Nell with Kessler Edwards to start the game. And then you look at the performance he turned in because he's just worried about the right stuff. And you think about Jesse Wade. Like, Jesse Wade made a really important contribution to this team, right? Like, he was able to save us the last minute and 30 seconds with both my point guards with 3 fouls, and he bangs 2 free throws and takes care of the ball with no turnovers, and super important. And, and then I could keep going, guys. I know I'm boring you, but Kobe, how great was Kobe Lee? Think about Kobe Lee for a second. So Kobe Lee, I crush him every day for guarding. I'm like, Kobe. I mean, every day he gets like a diatribe of not so kind words for me multiple times in practice about guarding. And Kessler Edwards catches fire, and we can't stop him. And so we go to Kobe Lee. Like, I turn to the bench. I'm like, Kobe, let's go. It's you, man. You got to go do it. And sure enough, he comes over with 5 straight possessions with stops. And this this stew that we're trying to put together is really complicated and it can fail. But if it works right, guys, this could be a really fun team. Like, I'm such a believer. I know it's getting old talking about it, but I believe it's super complicated, and it's sometimes it's hard to predict before the game, but because our guys are so willing to fight for each other, we can have nights like this where Alex Barcelo, the biggest contribution he made to the game was giving up his tooth, right? And then we have other guys step up and find a way to win.
You touched on it there, and you talked about how Pepperdine is so physical, but this was probably the most physical game you guys have had so far. Alex lost a tooth. Like, you can't really beat that. What do you have to say about the way your team was able to battle and just really fight when needed?
Yeah, no, I was actually. Keep going. Sorry, I think I interrupted you.
No, you didn't interrupt me.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you an example. I was so proud of Matt Harms. So Matt Harms was getting pushed off the block all night, right? And they were really physical and bodying him up, and he was having a tough time. And he just said, "No, I'm gonna find a way to make a physical impact on this game." And he did it with rim protection. I mean, how good was his rim protection tonight? I kid you not. Like, there were people in the stands when he was blocking shots that were ducking because they were afraid the ball was going to come hit them in the head. And, so his physicality on the defensive end, I thought, was really special. Caleb Lohner, I mean, he's such a beast on the glass. He was so terrific on the defensive glass, kind of just keeping us alive. Our league is a physical league. There's just no two ways about it. It's a really physical league, and I'm super proud of this team because they've embraced that and they're doing a nice job.
Coach, is Alex's smile ever going to be the same?
No, it's gonna be better. So he's actually at the dentist right now getting it fixed. So I have a call into compliance because I'm trying to get him to put a diamond in on the face of that new tooth. He's gonna look so swaggy. I kid you not, man. Wait till next game. He's gonna, every time he smiles, it's gonna blind his defender because of the gleam off the diamond. It's gonna be so big time.
That's great. What I really wanted to ask was about facing Pepperdine again coming up on Wednesday. What's it like to play the same team back-to-back games, and how much of the game plan that you use tonight will you also incorporate to the game on Wednesday, or are you going to do something totally different?
Yeah, it's super fun. I know Lorenzo's talked about this too, but one of my favorite experiences in all of athletics is playing in the NBA playoffs, right? Where you play back-to-back, 5-game series and 7-game series, and the whole, it's so incredible because after a game, you feel like you know where the series is headed. You feel like there's a tone set and kind of what's happening. And then one player, one quarter, or one game can change the whole dynamic of the series entirely. You could be up 3-1, and then you lose game 5, and now it's 3-2, and now all of a sudden all the pressure is totally changed from you thinking you were going to walk through it to now it's gone, or someone gets ejected or whatever, and all the adjustments from game to game. And then sitting in the office and fighting each other about what adjustments are you going to make that are to help you, trying to anticipate the other team's adjustments, and then trying to be true to who you are and make the right calls on what you're going to hold on to with your game plan is super fun. I mean, it's going to be really fun if we win. It's going to stink if we lose, man.
All right, last question from Mitch Harper.
Yeah, Coach, Richard Harward, he got banged up in the last game, gives you 7 and 9. How's he doing health-wise? I mean, is he close to 100%? How's he doing right now?
He's at the hot tub right now. So we got a hot tub at the house. The guys come over, and so he was like, "Coach, can I go straight over?" Oh, he's actually beating me to my house, man. He plays so hard and so physical. He spends so much time, making contact with players' bodies and elbows and knees and heads and the floor, that it just tears him up. He's the first guy that I almost there's been a couple times in practice where I've almost put in the no diving on the floor rule. I just can't bring myself to do it because it's like contrary to everything I believe about this game, but he just spends so much time there. He brings so much passion to this team. He's a gift to BYU. He really is. You talk about a guy that is putting his whole heart and soul into this team, and we have a lot of them, but he's definitely one of them. So we got to take care of him. Like, we actually sat him out of practice entirely yesterday, and he did the shooting, but he didn't do anything else. And he just is. It's beautiful, and he's the one guy in this team that you could sit out of practice and nobody thinks twice, because they know what he's giving to this team.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for staying late. We appreciate it.
Hey, you guys rock, man. Hey, hot tub's open to you guys too. Just come on over.